Daredevil Born Again is almost here as it releases on March 5th. While myself and others are super excited for Daredevil to finally return to the screen, there are a lot of folks who are truly worried about this version of Daredevil. One of the multiple reasons why people are worried about the Daredevil show is that it could be Disney-fied, meaning watered down into a shell of what it used to be. The original Daredevil show from Netflix goes hard. It takes us away from the MCU action-packed movies to a dark, gritty New York City. It tackles subjects that the everyday person would go through and shows that's why Matt Murdock wants to be there for the little guys, for the people that can't afford the fancy lawyers. Oh, and he's damn good at his job too. The story does a good job of being very character-driven and actually makes you care about characters like Foggy Nelson, Karen Page, Claire Temple, Ben Urich, and Stick. The show was a slow burn, but it was a slow burn that kept getting better and better and hotter and hotter. Every piece of screen time meant something to the story. The characters were full of life and wanted to do something good for humanity. This is the story of the little guys, the everyday heroes in the MCU, and that's why I think this show did so well. The villains were really good too and brought a good balance to the show. You felt the impact that Wilson Fisk had on Hell's Kitchen. You could feel the weight of his power through the screen and how hard it was for the good working people of New York to stand up against the evil that he presented. I mean, this dude was going to force people out of their homes to create a monopoly for himself. I mean, hell, this show made you even feel interested in Fisk and Vanessa's relationship. They showed a side of Fisk that wasn't always pure evil every time that he was on the screen. They showed his humane side, a side that only the love of his life would know. And as cool as Daredevil's abilities are, they still showed us how vulnerable a hero can be. The show displays the aftermath and side effects of fighting crime as a regular human. I mean, he's regular, like he's like a regular guy, but yet he has powers he's enhanced. What I'm trying to say is, dude could be hurt. Daredevil was a force to be reckoned with, but he was also vulnerable. We saw where he was completely injured and he couldn't even fight crime for a bit. We also get to see him get sewn and put back together by Claire Temple multiple times. The dialogue in those scenes alone carried a lot of weight that flowed nicely in the show. The show would do so well, it went on to have 3 seasons and introduced the Punisher, and he got his own show. I highly recommend that show. Also, The Punisher is getting a new show on Disney Plus as well. I think the one thing that we all loved about the Daredevil show is that it also went in between the lines of what it's like being a hero and putting your life on the line. It wasn't all cookie cutter, good guy beats bad guy, and then the movie is over. No, this show went into the injuries of what one would suffer from fighting crime, the mental toll it would take on someone. I mean, this show is so rewatchable and it's memorable. One thing I really appreciate about this show is that it truly shows a hero's journey of a man transforming himself into something bigger, a protector, a man of hope that brought light into a place of darkness. The trailers that we've seen so far from Daredevil Born Again looks like it's going to keep the same vibe and the same energy as a Netflix series, which is a good thing. We all hope that they keep this vibe going through the whole show though. Yes, I understand comedy in movies is good overall, but it also has to have a balance. I don't want to see Daredevil's dialogue sacrificed for some cheesy lines that just don't hit. The grit still has to be in the show. I still want to see the brutal kills, the blood, the mortality of fighting. The show has to maintain its balance of violence and action violence. What I mean by that is on screen there's action type violence where it's all popcorn and movie magic, where dudes are just getting whooped and thrown around, but there's no true impact, versus when we see guys getting obliterated and we see the pain and agony in their faces, we can feel the emotions behind the pain that these guys are actually feeling. That's why I love the Netflix show's direction of action they chose for Daredevil. Let's hope that the show keeps the integrity of the original show that was on Netflix and even takes it to a whole new level. I'm not saying that the show will be bad. It will probably end up being one of the best shows that they've made in a long time, but you just never know what could happen. My fingers are crossed for some awesome Daredevil content though. I guess on March 5th, we'll find out what Daredevil Born Again is all about.